Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Thank you for being here. It's been a good week. Fantastic that people are checking out my channel. I'm growing pretty quickly, 10 to 15 subscribers per day at the moment, so it's pretty exciting really, and I'm outranking a lot of the big channels. So, in terms of value, in terms of good stuff, I will be giving away some cool knowledge in this one, along with the news. We're going to talk about news and why I'm pretty much bullish on Bitcoin as of now. I'm going to go through one element of TA and one element of the fundamentals as to why this kind of backs it up, along with the news. But like anything with cryptocurrency, nothing is certain, so please do not trade off a total whim off a YouTuber like me, and always have a stop loss. So I'll see you in the video. Don't forget to hit that bell button because you will feed my dog. Right, so let's get into this. I want to make this nice and concise of news, but it's been quite a good week for cryptocurrency and certain individual coins. I want to go through a few of those. I've mentioned a few over the week, Binance Coin especially, and obviously Basic Attention Token, and XRP has got a mention in this one too. But I've also talked a lot about other coins, as in what they're doing, and if you're in any of my Telegram groups, you will see that I go a lot of developments of coins because that creates a spurt. When you think of a coin at the bottom, down here, when it gets a bit of interest, a bit of eyeballs, like, oh, hello, they pop, they go up quite quickly. And we've seen that with a lot of coins. Most noticeably, you've seen Binance Coin growth over the last couple of months. You've seen Litecoin, you've seen VeChain, you've even seen little pops from the likes of Mainframe, QuantStamp, etc., etc. They have random spurts. It's weird. So, let's talk about Bitcoin first. Pressure is coming from the bigger areas of the market stating that Bitcoin will achieve certain prices. This is classic manipulation in a way, but it's also a classic bullish behavior to kind of catch people off guard too. Don't be too drawn into it. Don't go all in on Bitcoin. Don't go, oh, mortgage. Don't do that. Just be wary that people are saying certain things. It may be the opposite end. It may be quite normal that, you know, Bitcoin may hit that certain number, but it may also be like, oh, let's get people up into a bull trap and then dump it. So be careful. But I am more bullish and bearish than I was a couple of weeks ago. Trust me. I will show you at the end why. So let's talk about this first. Arthur Hayes, I mentioned him a few weeks ago. He thinks, I think too, I agree with him, $50,000 in the next 2 to 5 years is achievable with Bitcoin. Potentially yes, with adoption as a store of value, as certain elements happen. Another halving's key. Hash rates kind of depend on it, depending on the miners and how difficult it is to mine and the global power of the economic crash outside, which is about to happen. And you've also got, you know, global warming. Sounds a bit daft, but you know, it's one of those things you've got to bear in mind. The extensive power and the cost to generate mining is getting higher and higher. There needs to be a solution to make that a bit better. We know that, but options are there to make it happen. So $50,000, I think that is, I think it could happen, yeah. I always will see a 20k Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin in the next 10 years will always be higher than a certain number. It'll always be in the 5-figure regions if there's a usage, if there's demand for it. But as a store of value, I think it's going to be there because there's only 21 million of them in writing. But we all know physically there's going to be around 19.5 million because a lot of people lost a lot of them and exchange crashes and scammers and all that shit. So definitely a one for the long term, if I'm going to mention it, as you know, the CEO of BitMEX is going to say. What's next? Throughout the week, we've been talking about Craig Wright and Bitcoin SV, Satoshi Vision, and also to enlighten this, John McAfee has been, his entourage has been saying that he knows who Satoshi is. I don't quite believe him. Honestly, who cares? I don't really care who Satoshi is. I want him or her, whoever, to just sit there in silence and be happy that what they created is amazing. Because in reality, it is. We're all on it. We're all. If you're watching this video, it's because of him or her. If you're watching me, it's because of him or her. It's crazy. So just let it go. Just doesn't matter. Do not claim to be him or her. So again, we're going to recap what I went over at the start of the week. We've had delistings all over the place. Shapeshift on this one, we've obviously had Binance, we've had Bitfinex, we've had freaking everything. Everything's delisted. Kraken. We've also had the Winklevoss twins. We didn't even list it anyway, which makes sense. a pile of dog shit. So that's the news on that. We do not want to talk too much about it. But another bit of bullish news that I did see, this is the one that kind of made me think, okay, is this manipulation? Now, it's not too bad saying in 2 to 5 years, as I mentioned before with Arthur Hayes, but Arthur Hayes has already said $10,000 is achievable this year. This is interesting. Forbes have came out and said Bitcoin is the new gold. $10,000 is not a hard target. This is where you kind of think, well, what are they up to? Who have they got to write this? Because you can actually get paid articles on Forbes if you wanted to. $130,000 it would cost you, but you can get a paid advert on there. Press releases, you can do it. So, is this a possibility that it is manipulation? Oh, let's do this, that, and the other. Cool. What is it going to do? As mentioned here, it's going to bring up the trends. Trends are going to be higher very, very soon, I think. As the Bitcoin price goes up, the trends will be higher. My YouTube will get faster and grow bigger. Hit the subscribe button, guys. Do not miss it. Do not miss a pump, because it will happen and you will all miss out. And if you're watching this channel right now, you'll be up to date with everything. So hit the bell button, trust me, because I live and breathe cryptocurrency. I do it all the time, full time, every day of the week. So I always get ahead of the game essentially with certain elements. So just do not be aware. Just don't. What's the word? Do not be unaware of what's going to happen. Just do not be like, oh, it's below $5,000. I do not want to touch it ever again. And then all of a sudden it's 15k. Bye. Oh, people do that, trust me. So look at what people are saying around you. This could be classic manipulation. Could be. Always have a stop loss. Always have a number in your head thinking, if it goes below that, I'm going to get out, just in case. Or if you wait to the end of the video, I'm going to show you one trend line that you need on your chart, and that is all you need. Trust me, all you need. And you'll be like, really? Cool. So that's that, Forbes. VeChain, I mentioned it before at the start of the week, VeChain Summit. A lot of things came out. A lot of their partnerships, a lot of their advertisers, a lot of their endorsements are already kind of been speaking here. So you've got the likes of BMW, DNV, you've got, can't remember anymore now, off the top of my head. DHL, all these massive companies that were there talking about partnerships. Ow, I've just banged my hand on the bloody desk. What a twat. So you got all these kind of talking about VeChain, what they're doing, and all their company assets were there. And honestly, if you look into VeChain and you see the partnerships, they're fucking huge. So yeah, you got a lot there. Just be mindful of when you buy VeChain. VeChain right now at the time of price is quite, it's okay, but a bit of hype with the summit. Just have a little look to see if there's a dip. But long-term investment-wise, I think VeChain will be a very, very good buy. I think longer term, it's got all the minerals to be a real good use case for cryptocurrency, and it will be probably one of the main leaders in the phase of what they're doing, the Internet of Things, the scanning, blockchain authentication. It's pretty big. So just be careful when you buy, though. Just don't buy now because it's up in the world. Buy when there's a bit of a dip or it's quietened off. There's been a summit, a bit of a rise with it. So just, I'm holding it. I love it. But I wouldn't advise you to just jump in right now, just off the back of the event. It could go ooh, and then back up again eventually. Just buy the rumour, sell the news. Remember that. Let's talk about stupid traders. Waves. This was on my Telegram group by Joey, I believe. Went, what the fuck? Yeah. Instantly, we died. 99.9% loss. Someone basically pressed the wrong button as a market execution and hit the world's biggest sell order. If that was a huge amount of money and you had a little few tracer buys, I like to put a few tracer buys in there from now and again because sometimes they hit, especially on the shitty exchanges. I used to do that. I don't do it anymore because I don't trust any exchanges these days. But basically what you do is you put little seeker fucking little bits of dollar below support lines quite low because someone always presses a market order button at the wrong price, and it used to happen on like Coin Falcon and stuff like that all the time, and you used to get some little gains from it. Don't really do it anymore. Don't want to leave money onto exchanges because they always get hacked. So yeah, what is a flash crash? It is basically when a rapid decline of an asset is triggered via a market execution. So do not do it. Never do a market order unless you're flapping, but don't even flap. Just be like, breathe. Anyways, next one. This dude here, crypto success would be far greater than the post.com bubble. I think that too. I think The reason why is because the internet will peddle it. Back then there was the internet, but it wasn't really that. It was mainstream, but it wasn't. If that makes sense. In 1999, it was a bit shit, wasn't it? Slow speed. Amazon wasn't really a thing. Microsoft were just getting off the ground. Apple were dead. There was no smartphone. A lot of things like that's just a few off the top of my head. I can go much deeper. When you think of the internet, the beauty of this is you need the internet, but you don't need the internet. In the next 10 years, we probably won't even need the internet at all for cryptocurrency. That's how decentralized it will be. It'll be all in space. It'll be pretty clever, but the fundamentals of it is people, social media, interest, analytics, data, all that shit. It will all be like, woohoo! It will potentially make this a lot bigger, a lot safer, a lot faster, more usage, everything. I think it'll be a lot bigger, and also you got scarcity. Scarcity is a big thing, supply and demand, the amount of tokens you can buy, it's crazy. Crazy. So, yeah, I agree. Definitely agree. And we're getting to the end of this now, and then I'm going to show you a very, very cool little tip that you just need on your chart. If you are a completely novice trader, you probably might need it. XRP may soon get integrated into Skype. Now, this company here, very, very good. They list companies in order of usage, adoption, all that shit. They're quite a well-known brand. Now, they are stating this, that XRPL Labs has already been used on the likes of Reddit, Twitter, etc., etc. Skype could be the next one. Pretty big. So, adding to the array of it, this is just good for adoption. It's not going to main moon. It just means, okay, more willing to accept it. Now, XRP is a controversial one. I personally don't like the XRP community that well. I don't really like them. I hold XRP not for profits, not for principle, sorry, more for profits, because I think over time it will go up in value because of what it is. Bit of FOMO. Everyone buys XRP when it goes up. Just one of those things. So for me, as an investor, I like to just hold it, not to be a complete shiller of it, just to like, oh, cool, I've got it. Just in case it goes bang, because it could go bang. You don't want to be the sort of person that just shills it. And the XRP community are really bad at shilling. They just don't understand how to do it ethically. So if you're an XRP wannabe, just be mindful of what you're doing, because there's a lot of people out there in the XRP community who physically go to companies to ask them directly, are you using our token? Who are you? You're a person who holds it. You're not you're not a developer. You're not a person in the team. Just bugger off. Just let it do its thing. No one else does it. You guys do it for some weird reason. I don't understand why. Anyways, with this, it creates adoption. It creates more leads into cryptocurrency, which is what we want. That's all I want to say. Simple as. And lastly, let's talk about Binance. Binance is the machine. It's going off Ethereum blockchain. Top tip, keep an eye on Ethereum. It may drop like a fucking stone in the next couple of days, so do not go long on Ethereum. That is a top tip. If you've got to this far, you probably sold your Ethereum right now. Why? Because the Ethereum market cap will decrease quite a lot if this token is fully off the chain. It's leveraging the chain still. It's still on the Ethereum blockchain. So it's officially swapping over on the 23rd. So there'll be a nice little swap, and it'll vanish off the Ethereum blockchain. Cool. So be careful, okay? So again, that will probably mean XRP will go into the number 2 spot. And yeah, interesting. So let's get to the chart. Why? I want to show you a few things. Now, obviously this is one of my trades. Cool. I want to teach you one simple asset class that you need to worry about. Either USD or Bitcoin kind of version, as in USD or whatever, doesn't matter. You need one line on your chart, and only one line only if you want to have this. Now, for me, let's just get rid of everything. What's the difference? What can you see here with this line? It's not hard, is it? Get on the daily time frame, get the moving average, either the moving average 20 or the EMA 20. This is probably the safest trend line you can use in crypto as it stands for trends. Now, why? Ignore that. On a daily time frame, if you are below that and it's acting as resistance, you're in a downtrend. Okay? When it breaks above it and holds, it's support, and then you go into an uptrend. Now, obviously you can see here, we tanked. We're still going down. Going up a little bit there. All you do is, whenever you're above it, that's what you need, right? So again here, we're above it. It's acting as support. Cool. But the best thing you can do as well, right, is have another moving average with it, okay? So if you go to add, not that one, apologies. If you go on to EMA, again, moving average exponential, you can use a different moving average to kind of gain the pace of it, and it makes it a lot easier for you to do. Now, personally, you can use a couple. You can use a 13, which is a exponential moving average based off the Fibonacci. You can use an 8, which is what I use anyways, which will give it even faster. And what you use is a crossover method, okay? So if I just change this to white, for example, just to give you an idea so you can see the bloody thing, make it a bit thicker, like a bit of girth, don't we? Right, so what you need to do, if you get a crossover, it's a confirmation. It doesn't mean enter at all costs, it's just a confirmation. Okay, we're starting to trend up. Now, a lot of people use certain moving averages, or they use certain elements and crossover methods, but if you're looking at getting a trend at the right side of it, you kind of need to know this bit because it's kind of useful. You've got other indicators, you've got the RSI, you've got, you know, the starch, you've got all kinds, but if you get into a crossover here, okay, cool, it popped, you wait for an entry off support. You never go all in here because you've like, oh fuck. You want to basically go, right, cool, we've crossed over, where's support? Well, support is actually here on the EMAs. If it fails, boom, you just go, oh thank fuck, I didn't do that. If it holds, off you go, you get in, and then cool. You have no reason whatsoever in this trend here on the daily time frame with Bitcoin to get out of your position based off that moving average principle alone. Okay, so what does this mean? If you ended on this wick here and you are in this position right now, you are up 46% in Bitcoin. Crazy! So that's a very good top tip if you're looking to get on the right side of the trend. Likewise, if you're shorting, you know, you enter on the rejections basically off the trend. And what are they? They're trend lines. They are basically very, very shit looking trend lines. That's all I use them for. I don't tend to use trend lines a lot on my chart. I just use moving averages or EMAs. And that is a very basic function of EMAs. If you want to get more confirmations as into when to enter a trade, you look at other indicators. You're bullish on the MACD, it's starting to tick up. The RSI, it's going into a bullish zone. It's got a nice little, kind of a little trend. It's not the greatest in the world. And the stock is crossed over here. Cool. And obviously you follow the trend. You do not exit the trend unless that line crosses below that and closes. It has to close, okay? It does not. You don't go, oh, it's wicked, oh, panic. That's what happens. That's what happens in your mind. You're like, fuck. And then you're like, oh. So yeah, top tip. Don't forget to subscribe. Another tip, I will come and beat you up.